Well, Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has finally made it home to Moscow, but he's just been detained only moments after landing. Apparently, Navalny was taken away by police officers at the border without explanation. That's what you're seeing happening right here. And his lawyer wasn't allowed to go with him. The activist is back in Russia today for the first time since he was nearly killed by a poison attack last year. He's been recovering in Germany for the last 5 months, and he claims that the Russian government was behind this attempt on his life because of his anti-regime rhetoric. But the Kremlin continues to deny those claims. Well, we have our correspondent Stuart Smith joining us from Moscow to break this all down. So, Stuart, it was expected that Navalny would face arrest upon arrival. Can you tell us why and what the Russian government is accusing him of here?
The expectation, indeed, was that he would be arrested. No one was in any doubt that this was probably the consequence of him returning. He said he wasn't scared. He was ready for this. But he did. There was a rather heartbreaking moment when he kissed his wife just before he was detained at border control and was taken into custody by the Federal Prison Service. And that's important. It's the Federal Prison Service that have taken him in, not the general police. And nor has he actually been arrested. He's just been detained. What's going on here is he's been detained on charges going back to 2014, fraud charges related to his anti-corruption organisation that he runs and uses as a platform for activism. The charges themselves are nothing to do with his political activism, but the prison service says he broke bail conditions when he went to Germany for treatment, and by not turning up at the police station every 2 weeks, he was therefore violating these conditions and is therefore liable to arrest. However, we don't know exactly whether these charges will be the ones that allow him to be detained by the authorities for the foreseeable future, but it was definitely something he was expecting.
Well, Navalny claims that all of these cases against him are fabricated and that they're politically motivated, and he claimed he thought that he wouldn't be arrested at least. I mean, he seemed to be very optimistic. But what can we expect to happen to him now? He's certainly been a thorn in Russian President Vladimir Putin's side.
Yeah, and simply by coming back, he is continuing to be a thorn in President Putin's side because the Kremlin had very few options here. It was if he stayed away, then Navalny had the option to continue his activism without threat of arrest in Germany, without the Kremlin being able to censor him in the same way. By coming back, he presents more problems for the Kremlin. If they chose not to arrest him, it would make the state appear weak, make the state appear scared of Navalny's influence. By arresting him, it's only further motivated his supporters to try and continue his fight. And even his wife herself is a very strong political activist in her own right. And this is likely only to fire up his fan base even further. It's a lose-lose situation for the Kremlin.
How is Navalny, viewed in Russia by the Russian public?
Well, he's viewed as one of the few people that actually has a chance at taking on President Putin. Having said that, when he ran for mayor of Moscow a few years ago, he received only about 27% of the official vote. He says that the vote was rigged. So there is a substantial amount of support there. But his real power comes from his ability that he demonstrated last year to unite opposition parties. In Russia, President Putin's party is the firm favourite in nearly all of the regions. What Alexei Navalny has tried to introduce is an idea of smart voting, getting opposition parties to work together as a bloc against President Putin's party. And so although there will be an election later in the year, it's not really his political party that's likely to take his attention. His focus will be on trying to unite opposition parties.